Hi, this is Mr. Martinson. I'm going to help you now go through the process of learning the basics of how to use the cameras, our older cameras that we've got here in the RAHS Report studio. These are 1970s relics. They do get the job done. There's some technical little issues that you have with them, and we'll step you through the process of working with those. I'm going to take you now through the process of what we call white balancing the cameras. First, we'll start with having the cameras turned off. You'll notice that there's camera controls here for camera 1 and camera 2. Remember, these are our 1970s relic cameras. They work pretty well, but again, you need to do some tweaking to make them work properly. When you click them on, the power button is here. In the morning, you'll see that it goes to the color bars here and here. These are not gray, but actual color bars. And that's a way for, in olden days, in ancient times, what they would do is put color bars on both of the cameras and try to get their colors to match identically by doing a white balance. And here what we've got is an iris control that allows us to set the white balance for the cameras. As you turn those up, actually let's turn them on by switching from color bar here to camera here. That gives us our two shots here. As I switch to each of these cameras, actually the one's in virtual and one's looking at the green screen right now, but you get the idea. Let's switch it to the green camera. As I turn up and down the gain on the iris, you can see that it's getting dark. It's completely dark now on camera 2. As I turn it all the way up, it's going to blast and go to completely white, which is, of course, not at all what I want for the quality. So you want to try to match that out so that it's about what you want for the color. So it's a good natural green that matches the reality of what I'm looking at on the screen. So that's how you do the color balancing for your cameras. You'll want to do that regularly. One of the reasons that you will want to do that is because skin tones between students can vary pretty radically, and sometimes what's set for one person's skin tone does not work well in terms of our studio lighting and what you see on the screen for someone else's skin tone. So very important that you check the iris and adjust that for whomever you are balancing the cameras for. All right, once you have the camera functional and the white balance is the way you'd like it to look, the next step in configuring your camera is setting up your shots properly. There are some basic things about working with it that you'll want to know. On this side of the handle down here, and I'll see if I can get in a little tighter here on the shot. You can see a controller here for tight and wide. As I push it this direction, right or away from me, I'm moving in tighter in the shot. On the other side of the camera, there's a handle here on this side. This is for controlling the focus. Now, you won't see the focus really well on the monitor on this camera. Sometimes what you'll need to do is kind of work on focusing it here and then watch the monitors behind us in the studio to be able to see if you can get a tighter sight. And sometimes you might actually even need to work with the TriCaster operator who will be telling you that you need to focus a little bit more. Again, 1970s technology, it does what you need it to do, but it is a little funky to work with. Now, if you want to watch the live broadcast of what's going on, there's a button underneath the handle, somewhere in here, underneath the handle to the machine, that you can press. And as you press that button, it allows you to see the live broadcast. Now, another thing you'll want to note about the camera is on here there are these boxes. You'll want to make sure that you keep anything that you want in the screen in between the main part of the screen and not on the edges, the bleeding edges of those boxes. Those are the safe areas for broadcast. You can see beyond the safe area on this screen, but you won't be able to see it on the television screen. So make sure that what you're centering on is in here. There's also an X in the middle. Often what I try to do if I'm trying to balance the cameras, and by balance the cameras I mean if you're going to two different one shots with two different anchors, you want to make their shots fairly similar so that the two silhouettes look about the same. Maybe shoulder length shots for both of your anchors. You'll want to center their mouth right or nose right in that X, and so you have the same amount of headroom and nose room. Two simple concepts to deal with. Headroom is right above the head, and nose room is off to the side if you've got a profile shot, so that the stuff going forward from their nose to the edge of the screen is nose room. So you want to give yourself enough room around the head. Don't, of course, cut off your person's head as you're going through and making your videos. Very simple process. I think that pretty much covers it. So again, make sure you're working with the TriCaster operator. Make sure you know when you're switching between the two shot and the one shot. That'll be something that you'll work with the director to figure out. And I think that should cover the basics of how to work with the cameras.